All right, we are live right before 3 o'clock. Getting a couple things last second ready. All right, so as usual, I'm going to start off by just saying, hey, thanks for being here. And also make sure you stop by Saturday, tomorrow, the 27th, as for Horror's Sake and I get together to discuss a pre select movie, right? So the next movie we're going to be talking about is Dr. Giggles. I have not watched it just yet. That is on my agenda for this evening, but we will get to it as quickly as I will get to it tonight. Let's get to the good stuff. Let's get to why we are here. Do. All right. So the Vinyl Ventures, we come together once a week to discuss some pre-selected albums that um, I pulled from the Wheel of Names. I took my vinyl collection, I threw it into the Wheel of Names, and I pull out 3 albums and a 45 to listen to for the week, and then come back here and talk about it. The goal is to come back every Friday, but it's not always easy to do. Life gets in the way. So you may have noticed I did not come back last Friday. I have some things to do this afternoon, so let's be quick with this one. Cujo's got to take his happy ass to the vet, get his butthole drained. Pretty exciting stuff. All right, so we are streaming live on Facebook. We are streaming over at Josh's Hoarder Corner on YouTube. Let's get right into it. So I have my notes that I took for the past week, and we'll start with our 45, which was the number 12 Looks Like You. Hide that. The number 12 Looks Like You is not a band that I am entirely familiar with. I know a little bit about them, but I didn't know everything, right? So they're an American mathcore band. They're from New Jersey. They broke up in 2010. They came back in 2013. They kind of teased some stuff on YouTube, but then 2016 was their first like big show back, and they released the Wild Gods album in 2019. I'm not a big fan. I saw them live on Sounds of the Underground, which was an amazing tour back in the day, and they were fun, but that like mathcore as they call it just isn't for me. It's just too much, too grindcore or something. But I did happen to purchase this when I worked at Hot Topic. This is the number 12 Looks Like You remixes. So that's what that looks like. This was released in, I think, 2007. It was on this nice green, toxic looking color. And it features 2 songs, Side A, Imagination Express, the Jesse Cannon remix, and Side B, Weekly Wars Ender remix. Both of these songs were on the album Mongrel, like the regular versions. The Jesse Cannon produced one, or the Jesse Cannon remix, he's a producer that worked with a lot of different bands. I encourage you to look him up, but he worked with like The Cure, Weird Al, Misfits, Limp Bizkit. Um, it doesn't call out number 12 Looks Like You in his little credentials, but clearly, as this says, he worked with them. I, like I said, I'm not the biggest fan of the number 12 Looks Like You. So this was difficult for me to get through. Um, but it was interesting. I also didn't really like the normal versions of the song. So what did I really expect, right? Uh I've never I never spun this before. So it was a surprise to hear just how bad it was. If I look it up on Discogs, because this was a random ass Hot Topic purchase when I worked there. If I look it up on Discogs, it is for sale for $7. So if you were looking for this album, you can pick it up on Discogs for $7. Like I said, neither track really appealed to me, but I sat through them and made it happen. It is what it is. So, would I listen to it again? No. So far, of the 45s we listened to, we had the Waylon Jennings, we had the Unrighteous Brothers, and now this. It's not going to be one that I will listen to again, unfortunately. So let's add this to our spreadsheet here. We went live today, which is 5/26. Good record keeping is important, you know? The 12th was the last time that we went live, and that's when we talked about the Unrighteous Brothers. We talked about Alexis on Fire, Watch Out. We talked about the West of Memphis soundtrack and Connor Oberst's Salutations. So there we go. Number 12 Looks Like You has been the worst one that I've listened to so far. I don't know why that's in my collection. I probably will never listen to it again. So we got a comment. Let's go ahead and check this out. What up, Colin? Colin and I were just talking about one of my favorite artists, one of his favorite artists as well, Amigo the Devil. I'm really hoping to get some Amigo the Devil on here soon because he's just fucking good, man. He's one of the best. Steel Drivers is another band, Colin, you'd asked me about, and I said I was more partial to Chris Stapleton. You get the connection. That's my question to you. All right. So number 12 Looks Like You. We're done with it. We talked about it. Will not listen to again. Let's go ahead and move on to, we'll do Emmure next. Why not? Emmure was a surprise one. It's weird that that's in my collection because I've never really been a big Emmure fan. They're talented. They've always had really good musicianship. The singer is very talented for what he does, but he kind of mixes this like metalcore metal feel with some hip hop, it seems, and it just comes together in a weird way. Not to say it's bad, like it's better than like Attila and some of the other bands that try to do it, but it was just weird for me. Um, One of the first songs of theirs I ever remember hearing, there was this like chorus to it that was "I Still Cry When I Listen to the Bayside CD," and that just makes me happy because it's just so corny of a lyric. And Bayside's always had their like Bayside as a cult thing, and years later Emmure started doing this. Emmure as a cult. And it was just kind of like, is that a nod to them or are you just ripping it off? But on this album, this was, oh gosh, look at yourself. I accidentally started this on the 45 RPM, and so that was strange. Um, but this is their first album on Sharp Tones or Sharp Tone Records. That was a fairly new label. It was the last album, or the previous to that, they were on Victory Records. I believe this is a solid black. Yeah, solid black, boring, nothing special there. And I don't remember why I ordered this. I heard one of the new singles and I was like, heck yeah, I want to listen to this. I like some of their older stuff, but for some reason I decided to buy this. And that was strange for me because this wasn't one that I would normally buy. CSR Collectibles. Thank God it's the weekend. I am so ready to catch up on sleep. CSR Collectibles just released. I'm going to give this a nice little shout out because it blew my mind. The Boogeyman from the movie, The Boogeyman. So the actor who plays like the monster in the new Stephen King adaptation, they just released some pieces signed by him. And I haven't seen much about the movie, but I'm snagging one of those pieces. I love Stephen King. It's a must for my collection. So Emmure formed in 2003 in Connecticut, and they started putting out this just heavy, ball busting music. Talented for what they do, just kind of outside my wheelhouse, what I normally listen to. You Asked For It is the intro to this song. They usually have like a corny intro to it. So they, of course, keep that going. Like I said, the first album off of Victory on Sharp Tone, Shinjuko Master Lord. There's always some weird like anime kind of connections with their song titles and stuff like that. But he comes in with this like I'm back with a vengeance kind of attitude. It has like a very Attila kind of feel to it, but better. Like Attila, their new single surprisingly is really good. I never thought I would say that, but Attila just tries too hard, and Emmure just kind of does it naturally in his screams. Frankie Palmieri's screams are just sick. They are so fucking solid. Um, this was also the first album after pretty much everybody left the band. It was just Frankie Palmieri. The rest of the band was gone. And he pulled members from Glass Cloud, Tony Danza, Tap Dance Extravaganza, pulled members back into this band to reform it. Second song was Smokey. Just like a dog, you got dirt in your paws. I'll bark, no bite, you dumb little bitch. Some clever lyrics. He always did have clever lyrics, so it just hasn't changed. Natural Born Killer, I'm only happy when I hurt you. So he has this like tough guy message that he always puts out there. There's dumb, like just dumb, I'm tough lyrics. Again, that's kind of signature for Emmure. Flag of the Beast has this really sick new metal sounding guitar intro that is very appealing to me. I dig that. I love that shit. It actually has like a really good groove to it. I think that was the single that I heard that made me like, I'm gonna buy this album because of that kind of new metal feel. So we'll blame that track for it. Iceman Confessions, also kind of new metal-y, kind of corn feeling. Russian Hotel Aftermath. I remember hearing that for the first time. It has like weird little talking kind of rapping parts to it. A letter to my future self. Are you happy now? Now that I hate myself. Like he has these like conversations with himself in that song that are really intriguing. Call Me Nehab. Solar Nehab is a solar deity, so I really don't know what the connection to that was or why, but whatever. Major Key Alert. Oh, he's a rapper, so he really pushes the rap on that one. Uh, and he also references that song with Bayside in it, which I thought was hilarious. So he addresses that time, his past. He's no longer crying to Bayside music anymore. Now he's just a tough guy. Speaking of new metal, look at that. Fred Durst. This was a Meth Syndicate snag. Turtle in a Hair Machine. Nothing really note of that song. Like it's pretty typical for them. Almost has like a chant like vibe to it. Torch was kind of like a you used to be my friend, now you're not, and I'm mad about it. So very heavy, but whatever. That's really all that came out. Derelict, Gucci Prison. Gucci Prison was actually a really solid closer and really lyrically good. Some weird like Fred Durst moments to it that I admire, and then it closes on like recording of Charles Manson talking, which also seems pretty typical for Emmure. I did enjoy the album. I enjoyed it more than I thought I would. It would be a good one for like a long drive. It's not something that I would just like listen to while I do the dishes or some shit. I need lighter music for that because if I listen to this, I'm gonna break shit like Limp Bizkit. But I would say out of the three I listened to, this one's number 2, definitely number 2. Then we go to this one. Motley Crue, Girls, 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 1987. It was their 4th studio album. It was a time when they were all fucked up. Everyone knows the story of Motley Crue. Nikki Sixx writes all their lyrics, which I think is surprising. This opens with Wild Side, which is one of their staple songs. But it still sounds garbled, like what you would expect them to sound like, unfortunately. Like they have this reputation for sounding like shit, and it's not much better on this recording. This was after like the Hanoi Rocks drummer was killed. This was kind of as they were fading out, I would say. So Wild Side, classic Motley Crue song. Girls, 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 another classic. Everyone loves that song. On an homage to the strip clubs of their area. The Body Shop, which I used to work at a tattoo shop called The Body Shop because he loved Motley Crue so much, I guess. I don't fucking know why. That's a cool name for a tattoo shop, though. Crazy times in my life. That's a stories for another time. We're going through this nice and quick. I'm happy. When they first formed, I believe they had like an apartment or something right off the strip. So all those strip clubs are like where they hung out for a lot of the time and pulled people into their apartment for parties and shit. Dance for me, I'll keep you overemployed. So lyrics, all of their lyrics are really kind of all over the place. So Nikki Sixx does not deserve any awards for his lyric writing. That's for damn sure. Dancing on Glass is proof that I've never listened to this entire album because I never heard that song before. Apparently, it was written the night Nikki Sixx threw out all of his drugs. He decided to go clean, so he threw everything away. But this is the Wild Motley Crue side of things. It's a very boring song, um, but the story behind like the band is like Nikki Sixx wanted a band that would be like David Bowie, Sex Pistols, thrown into a blender with Black Sabbath, and this is what it turned into. And this album is not a good showcasing of those sounds and those styles. Bad Boy Boogie, you can tell it's just about heroin, and them not getting along. It's more of like a heyday for the fans kind of album in the end, and these songs are just thrown together. Nana, Nana, I'm out of my head without you. I'm pretty sure those are like the only lyrics to the song, and it's about Nikki Sixx's grandma, who was like a mother to him, and she passed away, and he had been too fucked up to go to her funeral. So that Nana song, super meaningful, and is a very interesting addition to that album. 5 Years Dead. This one like really shows how much Mick Mars carried that band. Like his guitar playing abilities are insane. He's a great musician. It's really sad to see like how he's no longer with the band, and just his medical story in general is just a sad tale. But he has that signature sound with those squeals, and they rely on that a lot. Most bands that are going to be this popular or this big, they have two guitarists. They've made it this entire time with just one. It's really impressive. But I'm curious to what extent the guitar parts were written by Nikki Sixx, with him getting all the credit for the musician or the music writing. All in the Name of Love. Oh boy. So if you've ever listened to the lyrics, it's really interesting that a song like this exists because it's like she's only 15. She's the reason I can't sleep. You say illegal. I say legal's never been my scene. Like a song nowadays that had those words to it would be torn apart. She's only 15. She's the reason I can't sleep. You say illegal. I say legal has never been my scene. That's fucked up. And I'm pretty sure it was a single off this album. But it kind of feels like an Elvis-ish rock song of theirs, the way that it's written and the way the music goes with it. It's very interesting. Something for Nothing has Aerosmith vibes to it. You can hear so many different influences on this album, how it comes together, but Something for Nothing is very Aerosmith guitar. Basically, it's a song about being a gigolo, being a dick for hire. Really strange song to come after being in love with a 15-year-old. You're All I Need. Most likely it's Tommy Lee on piano. I wrote the note here, I'm bored, because at this point I was just like, please let this get over with. I'm tired of it. I'm done. The song is about a guy who kills his girlfriend because he doesn't want her to leave him. I mean, dead is gone, but whatever. The album went 4 times platinum. It hit Billboard #2, second to Whitney Houston. Which this week Tina Turner passed away this week, so rest in peace to Tina Turner. Pretty monumental. Has a more bluesy rock kind of sound compared to the earlier stuff. And then there was a Jailhouse Rock cover that kind of proves Vince Neil could once at one point sing. Colin, I'm not really a fan either. I've seen him live. I would recommend seeing him live if you get the chance, but I don't even know if I would anymore. At the time, it was fun. It was a fun show, but they're so bad now. I don't think I could really recommend it anymore. All right, 20 minutes in, one album left. Then we can pick the next ones. I forgot to switch the little clicker over to talk about Motley Crue. So there it is. We're going to close out with Bleeding Through. Bleeding Through just announced an amazing show in Michigan. And it's going to be Bleeding Through, Walls of Jericho, Through the Eyes of the Dead, and a handful of others. And they're going to be playing This Is Love, This Is Murderous front to back. Holy shit. That's going to be a sick show. Dead to Fall is also on that one. I love Bleeding Through. Fucking love Bleeding Through. I just got their first album yesterday on vinyl. Finally, it finally showed up. There's an unboxing video for that, but man, when they broke up, I was so sad that I couldn't go to the farewell show. I couldn't see them on their last tour. They didn't come around me. So when they announced that they're getting back together, I was stoked. But this album, Love Will Kill All, is their newest full length. Boop, boop. And it's a very typical Bleeding Through album. Bleeding Through has a very expected sound. And that's not a bad thing. It's just what we've come to love and expect. If they were to change that, kind of like it shifted a little bit between This Is Love and The Truth, and people flipped out. They did not love it. I did. There we go. Nice. Clear black splatter. People didn't really love that shift or that change. So if they were to change their sound again or whatever, people would be pissed. They do have like a new EP called Rage, I believe. And it was like 4 songs maybe. And then they released a new single not too long ago. But yeah, I love this band. I used to see them live whenever I could. I caught them at Furnace Fest last year. Well, it was cool because there's this band, Wrist Meets Razor, and they're fucking good. Very talented band. Check them out. Wrist Meets Razor. And they were kind of just hanging out, whatever. They wanted to watch Bleeding Through. So I like made room for them in the spot where I was hanging out and let them be there to see that band. You could tell they were fans, and it was such a cool fan moment for them to be watching Bleeding Through. Afterwards, I had a moment to fanboy. Marta was there. She's their keyboard player, and I'm a guy, and always thought it was so rad that when I was a teenage boy, like there's a woman in a band. Obviously, I've grown up and realized that that isn't something to be gawked at. I've matured. But she came off the stage and she was so hyped and stoked on it. And I said something about like how great it was to see them live again. And she was like, I have so much dirt in my nose and like blowing snot rockets. And it was just cool. It was just such a cool moment to see how down to earth they were and chill. So Love Will Kill All was their 8th studio album, the first on Sharp Tone, and the first after their split in 2014. It kicks off with Darkness of Feeling, and it's a very calm showing of Brendan's vocals. He is a very talented singer. His scream is unparalleled. If you hear it, you know it's him. And his cleans are different. There's something tough to it. The second song, Fade to the Ash, was one of the singles from it, I believe. And it's a very classic. Everything on this album is very classic Bleeding Through. I think I say that too many times as I wrote notes and went through everything. But that one is more rock driven, has a more rock driven chorus to it. And it was their first single after being apart for so long. Indus, again, very typical, straightforward. That song could have been on This Is Love, This Is Murderous. They're Orange County based. Like during that, there was a time when Orange County seemed to be putting out every band. Avenged Sevenfold, 18 Visions, Atreyu, Bleeding Through. All these bands were just coming out of Orange County. And the singer here was originally a member of 18 Visions and left for Bleeding Through. I think it was supposed to be a side project in the beginning, but it was picking up momentum. He decided to go for it full time. Cold World was the next track on it. This world owes you nothing. Work for it or die with nothing is basically the message behind that one. Man, I don't remember what year. 2018, maybe January 1st. This Sharp Tone Records was just forming, and they put out a teaser, and you could hear Brandon's vocals in it, and it was like, holy shit, Bleeding Through's back. Oh my gosh. And I was just so excited for this album. Dead Eyes had that signature keyboard sound to it. You can hear like a Swedish metal kind of influence in the keyboards. It's really cool. Let's see. So the song does feel kind of corny is what I wrote. Welcome to the End of Days, but it was still good. It's still Bleeding Through. Buried, the tough, dark lyrics. I'm here to destroy you. That typical, like, kind of, I would say, Orange County metal sound. Like, it was just perfect for them. So Bleeding Through, they're just consistent. After all the time of being together, breaking up and coming back together, they always had that same kind of sound and style that is true to them. And I love that about them. You're not going to get like a screamo album out of them someday. You're not going to get like an emo acoustic album out of them someday. It's always going to be the same Bleeding Through. No Friends kicks off with this BT 2018 like spoken thing that was really weird, and I don't know why, but whatever. It was weird. Go listen to it. No Friends, just the first 3 seconds, and then listen to the rest of it. But again, it goes right into that tough kind of feel. You're always my friend. Now I'm hunting you. They use so many F bombs. It's always been kind of their thing. Just fuck, 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 fuck. Set Me Free was another single off of it. No One From Nowhere. I'm the Liar. Will You Listen to Me? The vocals in this are just punchy. Like it's a very rad intro. And then it has this Now Is the Time for Revenge That I Seek. Revenge I Seek is the album closer for This Is Love, This Is Murderous. So that connection there, I fucking love that shit so much. When they tie stuff like that together, it is sick. Remains feels like Fade to Ash Part 2. His cleans are in a weird octave that just felt, I don't want to say struggling, but they felt like they were just about to like fade out entirely. They were really strange. I gave you too much. My heart, my soul, my mind, my blood, like was the repeat message to it as it kind of faded out. Slave has some interesting synth to it, like really weird kind of electronic sound in it. And then you pick it up in the vocals as well. And then it closes on the song Life, which is about feeling worthless and wanting help. But there's a nice positive message to it that you might not normally expect from Bleeding Through. This album was fantastic. This was the #1 album of the 3 that I selected. So as the count goes, #1 by far, Bleeding Through, Love Will Kill All. This is a fantastic, fantastic album. Oh boy. I would say #2, this right here, Emmure. Look at yourself. Got to be in the right mood for it. And then #3, Motley Crue. Did not love it. #12, Looks Like You. Whatever. Did not love it. But hey, that's what we're here for, is to take the time to go through the albums, my collection, and decide what ones I do love. So here's the fun part. Let's go ahead, get the wheel of names ready. We did it all in 30 minutes. Is there any art for Emmure? So Emmure, this one just had like a solid white cover to it, and it was on solid black vinyl. And then the sleeve inside had this like whoop, some teeth, like weird text messages. Fucking bullshit. And you obviously don't give a fuck. Do yourself a favor and something text me back or something. So there's some weird art. All right. So make sure my numbers are right here. Yep. Let's do this. All right, Colin. Let's see if we're going to end up getting some Amigo the Devil this time around. Boop, 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 boop. I always do 1 just to spin it and see what happens. I ignore the first result, and then I do 3 to get the remainders. So we'll ignore the first one. If it's Amigo the Devil, I'm going to be sad. Kitty until the end. Okay. All right, let's pick the real winners now. We know it's working. Here we go. #1. Also, have we had Aerosmith yet? We haven't. Ooh, this is a good one. So this is kind of dumb of me to do it the way that I did, but whatever. This is going to be Drop Dead Gorgeous. And this set here had both In Vogue, which I believe is on 7-inch, and then the full-length Be Mine Valentine. So that'll be kind of a long one. It's basically 2 albums, but Drop Dead Gorgeous was one of my favorites back in the day. So that'll be a fun one. Oddly enough, Colin, I love the wheel sound as well. So that's like why I wanted to use this, but it glitches on me a lot because of how many I put in here. Waylon Jennings, Live in Concert Volume 2. So some more Waylon. I have to be careful with like some of the older ones I have because they were from my grandma's collection. So I need to make sure I clean them before I spin them, stuff like that. And last, maybe least, we will see. Off with Their Heads Home. Amazing, awesome, great album. This is a good one. Waylon Jennings, Off with Their Heads, and Drop Dead Gorgeous. That's a good mix. So let's go ahead and come in here, grab our 45s. Get our 45 here. Looks like we got some Conor Oberst. Hundreds of Ways. I honestly don't remember what's on that one. Hundreds of Ways, but Colin, if you're talking about Off with Their Heads, check them out. The album Home really is a solid one. They're kind of like a gritty punk, but newer punk. Not like a Sex Pistols kind of vibe, but they're good. They have really good lyrics. So yeah, I'm excited for that one. I also have remove, and we'll go back to this. We'll go back to full screen over here. Boop boop. All right, so I want to make sure to update and take care of our lists here, and then we'll call it a day. Drop Dead Gorgeous, man. That's gonna be fun. Drop Dead Gorgeous. Waylon Jennings. I don't remember if the live in concert, if that's one that was mine or one from my grandma. I'm not gonna give Sleep Token another go. I'll be honest. I'm not gonna do it. I love that you love them. I think it's great. My buddy Mickey, he is very big into them as well, and he constantly tells me that I need to listen to them too, and I just can't do it. I don't know what it is. I don't know. I can't do it. Fuji doesn't like them either, apparently. I think Emily would like Sleep Token, so I need to tell her to check them out. All right. And it looks like the 2nd of June is when we'll be back to discuss these ones. Oh boy. Cujo. I am not a fan of Ghost. That's another one that I kind of want to give another chance, though. Or that is one that I want to give another chance to, though. Or at least like introduce my dad to him because I think he would dig it. But Cujo's Coffin, he has a vet appointment here in about an hour. We got through our albums. And the next ones I'm really looking forward to. So we should be back on June 2nd to go over the next ones. I will keep you updated on my Facebook page. Until then, see you tomorrow for our stream with For Horror's Sake as we talk Dr. Giggles. Otherwise, have a fantastic weekend.